Hey guys, this is Mr. Melee.
And his little Melee.
And today we're going to be watching 3 scary videos. So this is going to be our new series that we're going to do weekly. Liam loves scary videos. He's got me into loving them since I think he's like 1 year old. When he was a baby, we took him to go see It the Clown, me and his mom. And Liam has just been a fan of just scary stuff ever since. So today, Lil Melee selected 3 scary videos from 3 YouTube creators, and we're going to watch those today. If you guys like this, please like, share, and subscribe, and definitely leave a comment below. If you want us to continue this series, comment below as a YouTuber and what video you want us to check out. And if your video gets selected, we'll give you guys a shout out, and we'll watch it on the next scary videos. You ready to get into it? Let's go. Cool. Alright guys, so the first horror film we're going to be watching is The Unlocking by Alter. This is the first video Liam wanted to watch, so let's see what we got.
How long does this compulsion last? How long does this compulsion last?
All night.
What's his name? The man.
Mr. Tutu.
I've got a brilliant idea. Don't lock the door.
sweetie?
How are you? Did you lock the door?
No.
You should have. You should have.
Fine.
You should have.
You see that?
You should have.
On the floor, his head was like.
The door wasn't locked.
Okay, guys. I don't know what to make of that video. So I don't know if Mr. Tutu was in his head or if he was real or if he was always crazy and he was tied down because they didn't show us his hands after he cut off his hands. So I don't know if it was all in his head or like if Mr. Tutu was real. I don't know. If you had to rate that land between like 1 and 5, which one would you rate that?
10 out of 10.
It was a 10 out of a 10? You liked it that much? Is it scary? Alright, 10 out of 10. Alright, we're going to the next video. Alright guys, and the second video that Liam picked today is the last one from True Horror Stories POV. I heard that this series is really good, so we're going to check it out. Video number 2.
Okay, asal batas. Masa tiga dan mulai?
Show somebody.
Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, nice. Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Hey, babe. Sorry, lambat. Kau tunggu lama eh? Thank you support kasih invoice aku satu kat dalam. Kau check order betul ke tak? Aku check banyak kali, Syul. Betul tak? Thanks support Thanks. Tu lah, aku tahu. Apa ni aku nak cakap dengan kau? Paiseh aku lambat. Ideal cakap aku, kau OT. Habis aku tadi tu ni aku dah plan order aku nak hantar lain-lain semua. Habis ni aku macam push back. Sorry aku kesian kau balik kerja lapar. Thanks. Okay, bye. Okay. Kasih review. Bye. Okay, last one.
Oh! Snap! Don't call me on guard.
Babe, sorry. Boleh? Aku tumpang mama kau boleh? Okay, aku okay. Sorry Aku okay. Sorry aku tumpang rumah kau paiseh Tak apa. Sorry. Aku call Aidil. Sorry. Tak ada. Sorry. Okay. Thanks. Sorry sorry aku kacau. Kau tengah makan Oh, okay. Makan. Sorry. Sorry. Tak nak. Thanks. Sorry kacau kau Makan. Sorry Aku tumpang rumah kau kejap je. Aku nak call Aidil ni. Kau seorang kat rumah? Oh, dah tidur. Alamak, aku ganggu babe, sorry kau pakai Android ke Apple Android ada charger tak? Boleh aku pinjam? Bateri aku dah tinggal 19% je. Kat mana charger kau? Oh, kat bilik kau. Sorry. Aku yang patut sorry. Aku ambil kat bilik kau. Aku takut Aidil contact aku. Aku tak boleh get dia punya call. Yang, okay, sebelah kanan Okay. Kau simpan kat mana? Okay, can. Thanks.
Don't wanna. I want you
You don't want me to get scared, man.
because if that jump scared. Wait, did the light just flicker?
Budak, mana kau letak charger dia? Left ke right? Tingkap. Ada barang. Tutup. Tingkap. Ada barang.
All right. That one was good. What you rank that one, Liam? If you gave the first one 10 out of 10, what was that one?
The other one that we watched.
That one we just watched. If you rank the first one 10 out of 10, what's this one?
I just got scared. 1 out of.
1 out of 10.
I mean, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. So the first one was scarier than this one? The first one was scarier?
Yeah, I jumped.
You jumped? Yeah,
We both jumped.
On this one? So this one was scarier than the last one?
Yeah, the other one was so good.
Okay, man. 1 out of 10, I guess. Alright guys, we are to our last video, and this is with Horror Shorts Party. We watch them quite often, so of course Liam picked one of these. We usually like their true animated shorts. But this one I believe is for the season. So we're gonna watch the first one. It's the Grinch Horror Stories animated. Let's see what we got. Okay.
We forgot to do the.
I'm a 78-year-old retired car salesman living in a suburban area of Chicago, Illinois. After my wife passed away, I moved in with my son and saw a lot of stuff I never would have expected. I just didn't want to be lonely, but my son knew I was hard of mobility and still put me up in the bedroom upstairs. I've basically lived in this bedroom, and for the most part I only get up to use the bathroom down the hall. But as much as I hate to say it, I guess I was too depressed after the passing of my wife to get on my son's back about letting me live downstairs. He would probably never budge anyway. He's got a job and a whole family of his own, so he's too busy to even think about the old cadre wasting away upstairs. Sometimes I wonder if they've all forgotten about me. They barely come into my room to talk to me anyway, and it's getting to be more and more that the people in my TV shows feel like closer friends than my own son and grandkids. They get so bored that I even spy on my neighbors just to have something to do. My bed is close enough to the window that I can see into their backyard without getting up. For a few years, I think I saw more of that family than I did my own. It was a middle-aged guy named Mike, who was living with his mother and sister. Well, I don't know who owned the property, but I figured it was Mike's based on what I ended up seeing happen there. I swear, those folks seemed nice on the outset. Nothing to evoke suspicion, just quaint, happy little lives that made me feel more comfortable in my own boring, bedridden existence. I'd seen them talk to each other on their back porch in the evenings or go out gardening in the mornings, and I never heard anything unusual for the longest time. That was until a couple years after I moved in, around Christmas time. I had just turned off the TV and was turning in to sleep for the night when I heard people arguing.
Go to hell, you stupid tramp! You're a sorry piece of crap!
The voices weren't familiar, so I knew it was coming from next door. At some point, the shouting became screaming, and I started hearing all sorts of other noises going along with it. Doors slamming, glass breaking, loud thuds, the whole business. Then, it all just stopped. I was tired, so I assumed it was just an argument that ran itself out of steam. But I had a nagging feeling about it that played with my sleep. Some hours later, at what turned out to be 4 a.m., I was woken up by more noises. I looked out my window and saw Mike in the backyard. I had no idea what he was doing, but he was in a Grinch costume hauling some big Christmas sack to the tree by the garden shed. Then he opened the shed and grabbed a shovel and started digging, and I realized he was burying that bag in the frozen dirt. I didn't know what to think of it. It must have taken him an entire 30 minutes before he finished and went back inside his house. The only thing I could think was that he was some hyper-dedicated geezer playing the role of the Grinch, trying to hide some stolen donations from an orphanage or something. I don't know. I'd always thought he was a nice guy, so there was no explanation that sat right with me. I waited until morning to tell my son. Of course, he didn't believe me. He thought I was just a crazy old coot, and so did everybody else in the house. And with nobody to back me up, I started to believe them. I ended up brushing it aside and forgetting about it. The weird thing about it, though, was that I never saw the neighbor's mother ever again. She was the one who always tended the garden. But after all that happened, she was never there to take care of the plants. However, I still saw Mike and his sister outside on the porch from time to time, but they never looked quite as happy. After a while, everything went back to normal, until about 4 years later. After so much time, my son tried befriending his neighbors. He would always try to talk to them, but they would just give him a gaunt stare and say nothing, eventually going back inside their house. Both of them, the brother and sister, were definitely a weird bunch, but things got a little more disturbing right around Christmas, just like before. It seemed like it was happening all over again. There was shouting, then screaming, then a tussle and a thud, then a sudden silence. This time, I stayed up to watch. This all happening twice was way too strange for me to sleep on it. It was right around 4 in the morning again. I stood up out of my bed to get a closer look out the window. I could see him coming out the back door. He was again dressed as the Grinch, dragging a big bag of something to the tree and burying it under the dirt. That's when out of nowhere, Mike turned his head and looked straight into my window. I quickly closed the blinds, but he had already seen me. A few minutes later, I couldn't help but peek. And what else did I see but the man himself in the window right across from mine, still in costume, glaring at me. I tried to act casual and play it off, so I opened the window and tried to make conversation across the way. Nice Grinch outfit. Thanks, buddy. Nice night out too, isn't it? Indeed it is. So, what are you doing up so late? That's when Mike stares at me, not saying a word. Anyway, have a good rest of your night. Merry Christmas. Then, Mike waves his hand by, and in that moment, I saw a flash of blood soaked into the palm of his hand. Right away, he realized he made a mistake and tried to cover for it by closing the blinds immediately, but it was too late. I laid starkly awake all night after that, worried with anxious thoughts about what the reason for that bloody hand could have been from. The only conclusion I could reach was that he'd taken the life of his mother and sister and buried them in the backyard to keep it a secret. I didn't bother telling my son because I knew he would just brush me off, so I eventually called the cops. By morning, the cops were out in front of Mike's house, and he was immediately apprehended. Turns out that Mike's mother died in an altercation with his sister, and he helped her cover it up. Over the years, the sister had gotten ill and eventually died young. As for why he wanted to bury her in the backyard too, it was alleged that he did it for financial reasons. Just goes to show what people will do when money is tight. But if you ask me, I think the cops barely got half the truth out of that guy. I bet something way worse happened inside that house. The story was inspired by a downright terrifying incident that happened in Chicago, Illinois. Here's the photograph of the quote-unquote Grinch, a man named Michael who was 45 years old at the time. He has since been charged with concealing the deaths of the deceased family members mentioned in the story of his backyard.
That's crazy. I think the thing that makes like these scarier are that these are based like off of real people. And that one's even scarier because we live in Chicago, and that means that we could have been living next door to that man and we wouldn't have known it because he killed his whole family. Alright, Little Melee, what you have to rank that between 1 and 10?
Last time I said 5 out.
So what'd you give this one?
It was pretty scary. It didn't give me the. So 10 out
Guys,
of
that's it for us today for the scary stories. If you guys like that, please like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, if you guys want us to put you guys in next video, or if you have a video you want us to watch, then leave it in the comment below. If your video is chosen, you'll get a shout out and it'll be featured on our next scary videos. Until then, we see you guys later. We'll see you in another 24. Peace.